Hello everybody, my name is Ungar, and welcome back to Empire of the Ants. Today's episode is extra special, as I'll be 1v1ing the most skilled developer currently working on the game, Akriom, and I'll be getting to play the early access for the upcoming 2v AI mode. This video was a blast to make, so I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I did making it. The update actually released before this video went up. For the sake of immersion, let's just pretend it didn't. Anyway, this whole event was the kickoff for the ongoing Empire of the Ants 1v1 tournament being held on their Discord. Good luck to everyone participating, and a huge shout out to Tower 5 for not only hosting it, but also giving me early access to this massive update. And thanks to Akriom for playing with me. Let's get into it. Before I would be able to play the new 2v AI game mode, I first had to beat Akriom in a best out of 3 using the base game. Going into the first match, I had no idea what to expect from Akriom, so I went with my standard deck of door beetles, rhinos, gnat spies, rage, fear, and toxic spores. I later pieced together that Akriom's deck was dash, rage, fear, toxic, and door beetles. He never used a support legion, but he did bring aphids. We chose Deadly Sands 3 as the first map, just because it offers the most equal viability to all strategies. With a crowd of spectators watching and everything set up, the Battle of the Ages began. The plan: rush to the top of the map with tier 1 legions and spells, then transition into doors to take Akriom out and stop his strategy before it fully came online. Early on, things were going my way. I secured nests quickly and got my firebugs way before he did. This is because he forgot the layout of the map and went the wrong way. The battle began when I pushed towards the top middle nest and his workers threatened my lone gunner legion, forcing me to retreat and regroup. Eventually, with my complete army, I took control of the middle nest, held off his first wave, and upgraded to tier 2 in order to train my doors before he got his. While building doors, I launched an assault towards his nearest nest. My tier 1 swarm and spell combo picked his army apart and bought time for my doors to spawn. He managed to save enough to buy tier 2 and doors, which he voluntarily isolated, and though I failed to fear them into the spider, they somehow still wandered over there anyway. My gunners opened fire while my doors snuck into his backline and sniped his door beetle nest, also containing his nursery upgrade. That was the turning point. From there, I wiped out his remaining legions and slowly pushed to his capital. Akriom wasn't going to give up without a fight, as he had held my forces off for a long time and managed to secure a tier 2 legion. But without his super predator, he could not withstand my forces. I took his nests one by one and slaughtered the remnants of his forces, achieving victory for the first round.
Well played on that one. Well, that's the logical life of a video game. Players after usually just 1 or 2 months are better than the devs because they just don't have time to train on it. Also, once you've worked on a video game, you tend to have played it through all its stages, like for thousands of hours with all the different balancing and all the bugs and stuff. So when the game comes out, you tend to take a break. And then you work on the update, and then you play the game through the update's perspective. Congrats.
The score was 1-0, and the hype was real. For our second map, we chose Forest of Tayukan 1. I stuck with my go-to deck, gnat spies, rage, fear, toxic spores, door beetles, and rhino beetles. Akriom swapped his doors for chafers, but otherwise remained the same. My strategy for this map revolves around early tier 2 and flexibility. I take both firebugs, buy door beetles and veteran nest guards on the top flank, then use my whole ant army to push the bottom flank, which is usually the one less focused on by most players and therefore a weak spot. While my ant legions clear through the bottom flank, I have my door beetles hold down the top. Akriom opened with a standard playstyle, revealing nothing of his future plan, so I kept with what I had in mind. The setup went smoothly with no opposition, and I prepared for my assault. Again, Akriom forgot the map layout and skipped over a bottom nest, allowing me to take his exposed middle bottom, and leaving him with less nest chambers to work with. With the bottom looking like a lost cause, Akriom took the bait and pushed all of his powerful legions to the top. Meanwhile, I steamrolled the bottom all the way to his capital. He sent all his legions to the top in a last-ditch effort to break through, but my doors stalled him just long enough. When they fell, I had enough food to instantly rebuild them. With the bottom cleared, I flanked from both sides, cutting his forces off from his capital and taking his tier 2. Now that his chafers were alone, I collapsed in on them and took his capital after eliminating all his remaining nests. After that, I downloaded the beta while Akriom chatted with the Discord, and once we were ready, I toured the new multiplayer hub.
But no, I'm excited to see what you, how you'll greet the new update, because lots of things inside I'm excited for you to discover.
And discover we did. There are 3 new NPCs to interact with. The loadout menu lets you create up to 5 custom decks. I loaded my signature, Warrior Starting Legion, Rhino, Doorbeetle, Gnat Spies, Rage, Fear, and Toxic Spores.
So here you can see that you can change your loadout before the match is beginning. So you can see which map you're playing on and choose your loadout. And that is going to be valid for all the skirmish maps, but also all the multiplayer maps, including 1v1 PvP.
The second is Horde Mode, an endless survival challenge against waves of random enemies. The third, and the one we will be playing today, 2v1ing, which controls the new co-op mode with the brand new map, Riverside Conquest. Loading into the 2v1ing mode on Riverside Conquest was surreal. The map is set on a riverbed between Belokon and Tayukan. It can be assumed by its description that after the final mission in the campaign, we amassed our armies and had a final battle against the rebel forces on this map. Sadly, we never got to play this hypothetical final battle, but we do get to reenact it. This map is similar to Forest of Tayukan in the fact that it is split between 2 fronts. The upper front is resource heavy, but has few nests. The lower front is nest heavy with all 4 capitals. Each player starts with nests on both flanks. A main focus of this update is bringing more use to the information tab, which was quite useless beforehand. For the time being, it has succeeded in making me buy more info upgrades. I haven't used cartographers for about 6 months at this point, but it sure did come in handy for this map. The changes to the upgrades are such. Scout training is now 15 food instead of 30. Cartographers is now only 20 wood instead of 30, and only 1 chamber instead of 2. It's also different in function, showing all information about controlled territory and giving the colors instantly. Sharp Antenna and Activity Alert are now 20 wood. Veteran Cartographers is 30 wood, down from 40, and it shows all information in contested and neutral territories. Counter Spies shows enemy legions in the Pheromone Storm and reveals Pausus hordes. Elite Cartographers reveals the whole map for 50 wood. Traders remains unchanged because it's a really good upgrade.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Also, Rhino Beetles and allegedly Hornets can now be sent to enemy nests, even though they can still not damage them. Once I got a few information upgrades, the game was on. My strategy was quite unorganized, but the plan was simple. Sweep across the map with Akriom and push the enemy together. My army was primarily constructed in the bottom portion of the map, while my workers cleared resources from the top. I also played a lot slower than usual due to admiring the map and the alien nature of its design.
Well, that was the idea with this new map, was to make something really new, because having something samey but just slightly different is not really the way we like to do things at Tower 5. We like to make meaningful. We'd rather do less than others, but more meaningful. And that's what we tried to do with this new map.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
This allowed the AI to push into the top of the middle and gain control of it. Nevertheless, we began our approach towards the middle of the map and prepared to fight the enemy colony. I got my Rhino Beetles, and we both started on tier 2. By the time we got to middle, the enemy was already there, and if we wanted to take the center bridge, we would have to fight for it. The AI wasn't too smart, as it uses the same AI as 1v1s, meaning that it doesn't adapt to work in a team. It also has no support legions and just the 2 beetle super predators. That said, they knew the map better than I did, being AI. Due to a bug that caused the new difficulties not to work, the AI had no super predators by the time we began our fight in middle, making the battle a lot easier. Both Akriom and I got our door beetles, and I used my rhinos for easier movement into the back line of their top flank. The one new thing that the AI did was use the new spell, Pheromone Storm. It hides all enemy legion info, including their legion card, while they're inside the storm. We had no counter at the time, so we just brute forced our way through. Once the storm cleared, I finished cleaning out all the enemy holdouts on the top of the map and got tier 3, because at this point, why not? After clearing the top, we pushed to the bottom corner where both AI capitals were. The enemy had a lot of HP in their nests, and just like us, most of their army called the bottom their home. We picked apart every one of their nests, leaving their capitals with no support. Akriom crushed Red's capital, isolating Orange, then we finished them off shortly after. Huge thanks again to Tower 5 for early access and for hosting the tournament. And that will be all for today's video. So, if you did enjoy, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, join the Discord with the link in the description. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!